Previously, as Qin Tian tells them to hurry up and find land before the night comes. Sand Eagle continues to scout from the skies as Qin Tian and the others are scurrying through the mangrove area. They finally touch the ground after hours of stepping on roots. Qin Tian orders them to set up a camp. Just then, White Eye starts picking up a smell and growling angrily. Kata can also detect the strong scent of urine. It just means that they are in the territory of a strong beast. Suddenly, a beast appears. A jaguar comes out of the woods. The Lada people had only seen lions before, and Qin Tian explains to them that the beast in front of them is a jaguar. It takes a piss on a nearby tree to mark its territory and growls at them. Qin Tian asks White Eye to tell the jaguar that they have already claimed the area. However, the jaguar furiously charges at them. The night comes and the group successfully sets up camp. The poor jaguar is their main dish for tonight. Everyone had different opinions on the taste, but Kata claims it is enough to fill their bellies. The morning comes and everyone can hear the lively sounds of the animals in the rainforest. Fortunately, nothing happened overnight while they were sleeping. They continue their travel as they slash through the vines in the unfamiliar rainforest. As Qin Tian worries about the weather and their sweating, he discovers something on Kata's boots. It is a highly poisonous Amazon giant centipede. He orders everyone not to move. He tells Kata not to be scared and lets the giant centipede pass by him. Qin Tian then kills the centipede. Everyone is glad that Qin Tian notices it, and Qin Tian warns them that there are poisonous things around the rainforest. After a few more trips, they finally got out of the rainforest. Qin Tian suggests taking a rest because the deeper they go, the more they need to be careful. Mosquitoes bite them here and there as they continue in the dry woodlands. Aruba is a favorite of the mosquitoes, by the way. Qin Tian gives him repellent as the others are done slathering their bodies with it. Seeing the mosquitoes go away, Qin Tian is glad that he asked Jessica to make repellents. They continue their journey until Kata hears something. He tells them that he hears the sound of flowing water, and everyone claims that a river is nearby. Qin Tian can't believe he is the only one not hearing it. Qin Tian leads the way, and everyone arrives at the riverbank. However, Qin Tian is not sure if the water is drinkable. He plans to have White Eye test it first, but Abba already went ahead and drank some, claiming that it was sweet. Everyone then chases after reckless Aruba. Knowing that rivers are good landmarks, Qin Tian checks the map from the ring. The map displays lots of rivers and Qin Tian needs more references to determine their current location. Seeing that it is getting dark, he plans to camp out in the area first. They set up camp again as usual and got into action to procure food. Everyone can see that the fish in the river are small and won't be enough to fill their bellies. They will also be hard to catch. Kata suggests catching something like the jaguar again. Qin Tian, on the other hand, discovers something. He discovers some sorrel leaves that can be used to create traditional Chinese medicine, repel insects, and paralyze small fish. Qin Tian had an idea of what to do. Everyone then sets things up on the river and Pokuma wonders if the leaves are going to be effective in catching fish. Qin Tian then put a lot of sorrel leaves in the water and the fish started floating on the surface of the water. The rocks they put in advance prevent the fish from being swept away by the current. Dinner for tonight is a grilled dish, and the Lada people can't get enough of the taste of the fish. They were actually tilapia, which wouldn't survive on the previous island. Still, Qin Tian can't believe how rich the resources are. Just then he notices something, and a person can be seen floating on the river. First, Qin Tian tells the scaredy cat Aruba not to freak out. Nick wonders what is wrong. Qin Tian points to the direction of the river and asks them if the shadow they can see is a person. Confirming that it is a person, Qin Tian runs first to save them. After some time, everyone observes the wounded person looking like a tribesman from an earlier civilization. Seeing the man's attire, Qin Tian can only think that this person came from a more advanced civilization than the Lada people. Kata notices how the injuries were inflicted by stone tools. Kata wonders what to do with the corpse, and Qin Tian tells him to dispose of it. Kata immediately throws it back into the water and prays for the person's soul. A typical Aboriginal water burial. After the dinner, everyone had a meeting and concluded that there are other tribes on Biosphere 3. Out of precaution, they started to have a night watch and take turns every 2 hours. The next morning, they all set out after eating small fish again for breakfast. After following the river, they reach an elevated area. Aruba notices how muddy the water is. Qin Tian recalls the vlog episode he watched about muddy water in a downstream area after a rain, and the survival host suggests going to higher ground to escape the torrent. Qin Tian orders everyone to get up the cliff. With a rope tied to a tree, they all start climbing the cliff. Aruba wonders why Qin Tian is in a hurry. Qin Tian did speculate something based on what he watched before. Just then, an earthquake occurs, and they all see water furiously flooding downstream. They then climbed in a hurry and barely escaped the torrent. They just realized how wide the river is. Pokuma notices something on the water, and it is an Amazonian anaconda. Aruba wonders if it is a small Titan python. Qin Tian explains that they are different. Pythons have obvious scales, while anacondas are slippery like loaches. Qin Tian tells them to be careful, but a lot of people are seeing the anaconda as dinner. The cute anaconda sees a tree branch and slithers on it. What welcomes it at the end of the branch are the foodies from the Lada tribe, who see it as a dinner. Another poor wild animal has fallen into the hands of the Lada people. They all discuss how to cook the anaconda, and Qin Tian can't help but feel bad. Qin Tian notices how the animals they have met so far are normal, different from the mutated and ancient ones back in Baidao too. Anyway, he can't believe the others are really bringing the whole anaconda, weighing 225 kilograms. Because of the flood, the team didn't have a choice but to continue traveling in the rainforest. As the skies darken, they start clearing out an area to set up camp. Dinner for tonight is anaconda meat sprinkled with salt. Even sand eagles and white-eyed vultures enjoy the food. Just then, White-Eye notices something and growls toward the bushes. The sand eagle immediately reports that something is coming. Qin Tian tells the others in a hurry to put out the fire. After the fire is put out, they all hide in the bushes. What Sand Eagle described were more likely aboriginals. It would be worse if they were cannibals. Torches can be seen from afar, and 3 men who look like a patrolling squad appear. Qin Tian tells the others to wait. 2 hours later, they lit up the campfire again as they heated up the cold meat they left. Seeing the decorations on the men before, Qin Tian thinks that they are cannibals. Nick wonders if those men originated from their tribe because she understood their words. However, the others don't recognize them, and Aruba suggests asking Frusong later. Qin Tian asks for another confirmation if the men who passed by were speaking in Arabic, and Pokuma confirms it. Pokuma wonders if there is something wrong, and Qin Tian tells them that there is. Qin Tian clearly heard the men talking in Mandarin. Everyone then tries to figure out what is happening until Aruba's brain gets fried. Meanwhile, a person picks up a huge ant and lets it bite her thigh wound. She uses the ants to close her open wound. The woman pants as she looks over a village from afar. The next morning comes and Qin Tian's team finds a settlement. Kata wonders if the men from last night are from the village. However, Pokuma sees dead people using their telescope. Ragna now knows why the village is quiet, and Pokuma suggests leaving. Qin Tian agrees and tells them to go around the area. Just then, they hear a baby's cry echoing through the area. The others ask Qin Tian to look for it. Despite being worried, Qin Tian tells them to move in vigilantly. They can see traces of a fierce battle. They approach the house where the baby's voice can be heard. They get inside the house and discover that the baby has soiled itself and needs a change of diaper. Night comes, and the wounded woman from before approaches the village. She stops as she hears the Lada people being noisy over changing the baby's diapers. The woman finds their clothes unusual. The baby calms down beside White-Eye. The others notice how the village got looted, but Qin Tian decides to stay for the night. They are glad that they found the baby early on. However, Qin Tian worries about how to feed it when it gets hungry. Qin Tian's nightmare comes, and the baby cries out loud due to hunger. Aruba tries to feed it with a piece of meat, but Kata smacks him for being an idiot. Qin Tian lets it drink water for now, but it still cries out. Everyone continues to worry as someone sneaks around the area. The baby continuously cries as the woman outside tries to start a fire. Kata suggests knocking out the baby to make it fall silent, but then he notices the other houses burning. Qin Tian gets alerted, and they discover how the fire quickly spreads to the adjacent houses. They use their axes to bring down the nearby houses. Qin Tian finds it weird that the house suddenly caught fire. He knows that this is deliberately done, basically arson. The woman sneakily runs to get the baby, but Qin Tian discovers her. While holding the baby, the woman tries to slash Qin Tian, but Qin Tian manages to dodge her attack. Qin Tian just realized that the one who sneaked in is a woman. Qin Tian knocks her out after realizing that she is from the village. Qin Tian gets flustered as the baby starts fondling a melon. The fire soon dies out and everyone concludes that it was the woman who started the fire. Ragna wonders if she is the baby's mother, and Qin Tian agrees that she might be. The woman wakes up as Nick greets her. She starts going hysterical and calls them demons. Qin Tian asks her to calm down. The woman realizes that there are a lot of them, and if their goal was to hurt her, they should have done it earlier. The woman introduces her as Soram, and the baby is hers. Qin Tian then confirms if they can understand each other and comes to the conclusion that everyone in D3 can understand each other regardless of language. Qin Tian then asks Soram to sit down and have a conversation. However, Soram falls over because she is too tired and hungry. The morning comes and Soram finally takes a bite of food. Nick tells her to eat slowly. She thanks Qin Tian and the others. Qin Tian asks her what happened to the village. She then starts talking about what happened 3 days ago. The village was suddenly attacked by other tribes. The villages rose to put up a fight, but they were outnumbered and taken as prisoners to become slaves. Soram was given the opportunity to escape during the battle. Soram couldn't hold back her tears as she recalled what happened. Nick confirms that Soram fell asleep after crying too much. Qin Tian wonders if the Lada tribe can accept people from other tribes, but the others don't know about it. Kata confirms that this hasn't happened to them yet. Qin Tian suggests taking Soram back to their ship, Breaking Dawn. However, they need Soram's opinion about it too. For now, Qin Tian tells the others to sleep well for the night. Qin Tian initially planned to talk to Soram in the morning, but she is still sleeping due to fatigue. He then decides to leave Ragna and Nick behind while he and the others look for food to eat. The group aimlessly roams around the wilderness looking for food. A curious Aruba discovers a spider and calls out for Pokuma's attention. Pokuma gets mad at Aruba and kills the spider. Qin Tian notices that there are Joro spiders around and clearly remembers a collector buying these for a fortune. The group soon arrives at a coconut field and everyone gets excited. They check for coconut fruits, and Pokuma notices how they are different from the ones they usually know. Qin Tian explains that this type of coconut tree doesn't bear fruits, but the starch inside the trunks is edible. The others misunderstood him and started biting on the coconut trunks. The group cuts down one tree and Qin Tian shows them the edible starch. However, they need to filter out things first using water. The others are worried that they don't have water anymore and haven't seen any sources nearby. Qin Tian claims that there is a nearby source of water since Soram's tribe mates have cut down some of the trees before. They see two trails, with one showing signs of the trunks being dragged away. They soon reach the river and Aruba wonders if they can catch some fish. They then start extracting the starch from the trunk. They started chiseling the starch and also created some containers using the outer barks. They did some rubbing and then used a cloth to filter the starch liquid. They left it for some time until the starch gradually sank into the bottom of the container. Qin Tian explains that starch flour is basically the same as wheat flour. He then tells the others to start moving back to the village. Meanwhile, Soram wakes up and thanks Nick. However, Nick tells her to thank the Mighty One instead. She claims Qin Tian is the messenger of the Almighty. Qin Tian's group returns and Soram starts prostrating herself in front of Qin Tian while calling him a priest. As they cook the starch, Soram explains that the priests in their eyes are those who communicate with God and lead others. Qin Tian then asks Soram what she wants to do next. Soram wants to go to the city-state, much to Qin Tian's surprise. She claims she only heard from the elders that the city-state is a large tribe with huge stone houses. Corn and cocoa are abundant, and there are kings and nobles living there. During festivals or disasters, the king asks the priests to conduct a ceremony with offerings to seek blessings and protection for the people. Qin Tian falls silent upon hearing new information. The silence broke when the starch popped off. Soram didn't know they could cook the starch that way. Meanwhile, Qin Tian ponders the fact that the pattern of the continent is indeed bigger than expected. Qin Tian asks how Soram's tribe usually cooks the starch. Soram explains that they usually make porridge out of sago starch. Qin Tian wonders if it was the priests who imparted their knowledge, and Soram confirms it. Qin Tian knows that the word sago is modern. He then asks if Soram really wants to go to the city-state. She overheard during the raid that the invaders plan to sell her tribe mates in the city-state. She plans to buy them back. Everyone goes to sleep as Qin Tian is still digesting the information she got from Soram. He assumes that the city-state is in the center of the surrounding tribes. The tribes can plunder other tribes and offer the captured as slaves or human sacrifices to the city-state. However, Soram doesn't know where the city-state is located, and Qin Tian plans to follow the directions that the rings point to for now. He then worries about helping Soram because it would be reckless to travel through the rainforest with a baby. He wonders if the priest is a modern person and can be asked to join them. The next day, Qin Tian and Aruba start digging under a house where money is kept. They dig until they uncover a skull. Aruba panics and Soram explains that they bury the patriarch under their houses to have them protect them. They finally find a jar that contains coins. Qin Tian worries that it might be someone's ashes because the jar looks like a ceremonial urn. However, the jar contains colorful shells instead. Soram claims that with those shells she can buy the clan back. Qin Tian wonders when she will leave. Soram gets excited to hear that Qin Tian is willing to help her. She then asks Qin Tian to conduct a Hertzmark ceremony for her child. It is a ceremony conducted by the patriarch or an invited priest to baptize a name for the child. Qin Tian asks when the ceremony is, and Soram is glad to hear that Qin Tian agrees to it. She claims it can be done after a month. Qin Tian worries, but Soram suddenly mentions that it will be in 20 days. Qin Tian is surprised to find out that there are only 20 days in a month in the calendar the tribesmen are using. Qin Tian and the rest start going off to their respective tasks. Aruba then suggests fishing, but Qin Tian remembers that D3 is basically a miniature version of the Amazon forest, with dangerous creatures like crocodiles and piranhas. They must be careful when working beside the river. Aruba has a lot of worms to be used as bait. He discovers Qin Tian, who has made another unique fishing device that will automatically hook the fish once it bites the bait. After setting it up, they catch fish easily while processing starch at the same time. Just when Aruba finds the process convenient, a line suddenly moves viciously and he asks for the others' help. Qin Tian notices that it must be a big one for Aruba to struggle. Despite having Qin Tian's help, the two get pulled into the river by a strong force. Kata throws a spear, but it just bounces off the scales. The water splashes and an adult arapaima leaps out of the water. It is considered the biggest fish on the South American continent. Qin Tian knows it will be hard to pull it over once it goes back to the water. He asks Pokuma to aim for its head. Pokuma enters a state of concentration and hits the jaw of the arapaima with his arrow. The huge fish finally calms down in the water. After pulling it out of the water, they conclude that they have enough food for 3 days. Qin Tian pulls out the scales and explains to everyone that they are usable as armor. Seeing that Kata's spear bounced off them, Pokuma now realizes why Qin Tian asks him to aim for the head. However, Qin Tian claims he was not sure in the first place if the head was the weakness. Pokuma can't believe that he was just asked to do a chance shot. That night, they feasted on the arapaima's meat. At the same time, Soram is busy with something and Nick asks what she is doing. She is using the arapaima's scales to make armor. They didn't worry about having meat for the next 3 days, but they still need to process the remaining starch for their next trip. Meanwhile, Soram and Nick are preparing things for the ceremony. Soon after, Priest Qin Tian leads the ceremony but finds the process troublesome. He just mumbles random numbers and alphabets as chants. A few minutes later, Soram presents her child to Qin Tian. Soram guides her on what to do, and Qin Tian lifts up the child and realizes something. He unconsciously shouts the name Simba. Qin Tian tries to calm himself after the absurd memory he just recalled. The others behind him also shouted the name Simba, thinking that it was a chant. Soram then asks Qin Tian to introduce 9 items to the child to determine his purpose in life. Qin Tian then starts to present various things to the child. He puts down the child and watches him crawl toward the items. Surprisingly, the child picks up everything. Qin Tian wonders what blessing to say because he only prepared a speech for each item. He suddenly gets an idea and claims that the earth contains everything, hence the child's name is Earth. Soram is glad that her child now has a name. Everyone is impressed by what they just witnessed, even though it felt like the Lion King for a moment. Night comes, and Qin Tian checks on Soram's injuries. They then show Soram the map of the continent they are on. Qin Tian then asks, "Where is the village located?" She points to something near a river. However, Qin Tian knows that the map is kind of hard to use without the positioning function. They then continue planning the path they are going to embark on. The group sets out the next morning and follows the path Soram's tribemates left. Qin Tian offers a set of clothes for Soram, but she finds her current attire comfortable. The group later encounters a dead end and decides to camp for the night instead. The next day comes and Qin Tian can't believe he collected a lot of water from dews overnight. Everyone also does the same while Earth is chilling with Wide-Eye. The group continues to travel and Aruba is complaining about the weather. Soram suddenly stops and feels the wind. She claims that it is about to rain. However, the others can see how sunny the sky is. Soram exclaims that it will be heavy rain. Qin Tian can trust Soram because she is a resident of this continent. He then orders the others to set up camp. After some time, the skies start rumbling and rain comes pouring down. Ragna is thankful that Soram gave them a warning. Nick wonders how Soram did it, and Soram claims that she just needs to listen to the rainforest. Qin Tian is really glad he listened to Soram. Seeing how the rain pours, the group realizes that it will go on for the whole day. It's a good thing that Jessica's tent has a bottom to keep the water away. The rain continues through the night, and all they can do is camp out for the rest of the day. The skies cleared up the next morning, but the rain came back just like Soram predicted. As the skies clear up again, the group continues to travel. However, their boots are too soaked from the rain. Ragna suggests taking them off, but Qin Tian denies his suggestion. Soram gives out a signal again and Qin Tian tells them to set up the tent. It starts raining again, but weaker compared to the beginning. This time they use an animal skin tent so they can put up a fire. Just then, Aruba notices that Kata has 6 toes on his feet. Kata looks down and checks on his foot. Ragna and Pokuma claim that they have the same thing. Qin Tian scolds them for not telling him about it early on. Qin Tian then starts asking them for symptoms. Qin Tian worries that they might be fatal. He then opens up the system's store and uses 2,000 points to buy a book about first aid in the wild. Qin Tian can feel the information entering his mind again after a long time. He finds the information that he needs in his head, and diagnoses the condition of the others as warts. The others are worried that they might die because of warts. Kata then starts leaving his will to Nick. Pokuma asks Aruba to take care of his twin sister Pohama. Ragna cries with a confused white eye. Qin Tian then tells them that a small problem won't kill them. The treatment is quite simple. Pour some hot water on the wart and cut it off with a knife. It won't even hurt when cut off. Kata wonders if it is done, but Qin Tian claims it might grow back again and they just need to cut it off. He presented another method using needles, but the others looked scared. Soram claims the rain is going to take a day, so everyone decides to rest for now. Qin Tian knows the cause of warts: long-term travel, friction, and the wet environment that let the bacteria breed on the wounds. Qin Tian tries to look for more books that can help their current situation, but I see something familiar in the store. Sheesh, other manhwas are uploaded on the system. Qin Tian is tempted to buy them. He quickly snaps out of it and continues to browse for something useful. He then finds an upgraded book about field crafts. Despite being expensive, Qin Tian buys the book and gains new knowledge. He then stands up and exclaims that there is a way. He then mixes lard with sodium hydroxide to make glycerin. He then mixes it with starch, baking soda, vinegar, and water to make degradable plastic. Soram is fascinated by the glass tube and Nick starts acting proud. Qin Tian continues mixing and the others are starting to wonder what he is doing. He claims he is making plastic that is waterproof. Half an hour later, they acquire waterproof boots. Aruba then offers to do the test. He then starts stepping on a puddle like a kid, and Kata punishes him for splattering water on him. Qin Tian is glad that they can protect the others from warts now and prevent them from redeveloping them. The rain boots were quite useful during their travels. It can even help them when they accidentally step on shallow puddles. The rain was really terrifying because it accumulated too much water in the forest. They even discover a shark in the river, which soon becomes a meal. Because of the climate, Qin Tian's group is traveling unnecessary distances. During their travels, they encounter avocado trees that bear fruits that are highly nutritious. Our foodie friend Aruba starts climbing to pick the fruits. However, he notices something from afar. He shouts back to the others below that he can see fire ahead. However, Soram claims it is not a flame. It is actually a colony of flying fire ants. They use their jaws to clamp human skin, which can cause blisters, burns, and even anaphylactic shock, with the risk of death. Qin Tian tells everyone to run away. While running, Aruba points out that it was just ants, but Qin Tian exclaims that this kind can kill people. Qin Tian realizes that they can't just run away from the colony. He brings out his lighter and asks the others to bring out the alcohol. They put alcohol in their mouths while holding torches. The fire ant colony comes and they spat out alcohol towards the fire torch. Unlocking fire breathing, killing the fire ants in the process. However, there are still a lot of them. Qin Tian tells the others to cover their heads and get out. The fire ants start biting them. Just then, the Sand Eagle comes. Sand Eagle uses Gust. It is super effective. Qin Tian commends Sand Eagle. The fire ants target Sand Eagle this time. Qin Tian tells it to get away and throws the bottle of alcohol away. Pokuma shoots an arrow, breaking the bottle and causing an explosion. Qin Tian tells them to run. Qin Tian and the others run away from the fire ants. Qin Tian knows that fire ants don't have natural enemies. However, the system shows him Mahatma, a parasitic fly, and yellow dragonflies, which both prey on fire ants. The ring points out a direction, and they all run to it. They are getting near the yellow dragonflies' breeding grounds near the river. Qin Tian and Pokuma distract the fire ants again with small explosions. They finally arrive at the river, and Qin Tian tells them to hurry. Everyone dives into the water, and Qin Tian gives the fire ants the middle finger. The yellow dragonflies start to mobilize. They all preyed on the fire ants until nothing was left. Look at them burp. Everyone gets out of the water and checks on each other's condition. Qin Tian is glad that no one had allergic reactions. Soram and Nick appear and they regroup. They set up their tents nearby and Qin Tian starts giving the others first aid, making the itch go away. This is the most embarrassing day for Qin Tian and the others since they entered the rainforest area. They take their time to recuperate their fatigue and stress. Their rain boots were also damaged in the encounter with the fire ants. However, they are lucky to camp nearby milk trees. Qin Tian explains that it is a tree that produces milk. Well, its sap has the same composition as milk. Qin Tian collects some sap and cooks it to remove the unpleasant smell. The smell became more pleasant and everyone got to taste milk for the first time. Qin Tian feels amazed by nature after encountering sago palm trees and milk trees. Later that night, Qin Tian comes out of the tent to check on Soram, who is praying outside. He wonders if she is worried about the safety of her clan. She claims that there is a month left before the sacrificial ceremony. Qin Tian recalls that Soram did mention it before, and her clanmates might be the ones offering this time around. Qin Tian reminds her that it will be just a few days before they reach the city-state. However, Qin Tian's group doesn't know the exact location of the city-state. Hence, they can't estimate the distance that they are supposed to travel. Along the way, with the help of Sand Eagle, Qin Tian discovers other villages that range from small ones to larger ones. Qin Tian thinks the city-state is just nearby because of the villages gathering in its proximity. Still, Qin Tian and his group decided to avoid the villages to avoid unnecessary troubles. A few days later, Qin Tian's group discovers some traveling tribesmen. They think the path they are taking is toward the city-state. Just then, they hear something in the nearby woods. A man is running with his little sister on his shoulders while following a strong scent. He then stops as soon as he discovers Qin Tian's group. Qin Tian can see that the siblings pose no threat to them. The little sister then exclaims that she wants to eat what Qin Tian's group is cooking. The young man puts her down and tells her to wait. The young man brings out a deer's leg and asks Qin Tian for an exchange. Qin Tian smiles and looks at the others. The young man wonders if he needs to find another leg, but Qin Tian tells him that it is enough. Qin Tian plans to ask for information from the young man. The young man introduces himself as Tiger Claw, while the little sister is named Aya. They both thank Qin Tian for the food. Aya exclaims how delicious the cooked starch is and wonders if it is a gift from God. Tiger Claw wonders if Qin Tian's group will also participate in the sacrificial ceremony, but Qin Tian replies that they are not sure if they are going the correct way. Just like he expected, Qin Tian gained information from Tiger Claw. Tiger Claw explains that the people walking on the same path are going to participate in the sacrificial ceremony. In terms of their current location, it would still take them 2 more days to reach the city-state. Tiger Claw tells them to take their time because there is still time before the ceremony of the priesthood starts. Tiger Claw then reminds Qin Tian about the entrance fee. Qin Tian wonders how the fee is calculated. Tiger Claw mentions that shells are the main currency used to buy products like cocoa beans, tobacco, and corn. Qin Tian wonders how much it is per person, and Tiger Claw tells him that it is 20 shells per person. Tiger Claw suggests trading their items for currency and offers to trade some for Qin Tian's food. First things first, Qin Tian wants to know if plundering happens in the city-state after knowing that looting between villages happens. Aya then cheerfully suggests killing the other party to gain more things. Tiger Claw tells the anxious Qin Tian that others normally target other small groups. Qin Tian wonders if the siblings are in danger. Aya exclaims that her brother is strong enough to take on 10 people by himself. Qin Tian then changes the topic and asks for the exchange of shells for food. The siblings then receive food from Qin Tian with extras. Qin Tian now worries if Soram can buy off her clanmates with her jar of shells. The 2 groups finished exchanging goods and shells and went their separate ways. Qin Tian and his group moved to look for another place to camp. He worries that the siblings are other tribes' scouts. Meanwhile, the siblings talk about how nice Qin Tian is. Tiger Claw hopes he won't participate in the holy ball sports after the gods bless them. Just then, Aya starts shivering. Tiger Claw stops walking and covers Aya with this thick cloak. They spent the night as the older brother warmed up his little sister. The next day, Qin Tian's group takes a road different from the main road. Qin Tian tells them to wait and see. He recalls Tiger Claw's warning that other tribesmen target people on the road. Suddenly, Qin Tian notices a glint in the woods. An arrow appears, and Qin Tian immediately has his superpower that speeds up his mind and movements. He knew that this kind of situation would come, and didn't expect the tribesmen to be smart enough for an ambush. Knowing that they are nearing the city-state, this kind of ambush is a normal occurrence. Qin Tian can also see another party waiting for the result of the scuffle. However, it is a pity that they chose the wrong target. Qin Tian, Kata, and Ragna quickly fought back and overpowered the tribesmen. Their modernized swords are enough to scare the tribesmen. However, the tribesmen are proud of their numbers compared to Qin Tian's group. Aruba now knows how the pirates felt when they were at an advantage with their weapons. Qin Tian is now worried about the enemy's numbers. They have just come out. A spear suddenly appeared between the 2 forces. Tiger Claw comes running with Aya on his shoulder. The other tribesmen freaked out after seeing Tiger Claw and bounced out of the scene. However, the strong man that the others are scared of tripped on a random rock. Aya skillfully jumps off of her brother and greets Qin Tian's group. Tiger Claw asks for their well-being, but it seems like he needs to check on himself first. Qin Tian helps Tiger Claw get up and mentions how the coincidence is so great that it looks like the siblings knew their location. Tiger Claw immediately spouts random stories and reasons for helping Qin Tian's group. The siblings even mention how God guided them to meet again. They suggest traveling and eating good food together. Qin Tian accepted their suggestion, and the way to the city-state was now easier with the siblings. Qin Tian's group can't believe seeing a sudden number of people. Pokuma wonders why the others are distancing themselves, and Tiger Claw mentions their clothes, saying that only nobles can afford to buy them. They then decide to sell their clothes and blend in with the people. On the other hand, they are all glad that they don't need to stay in the muddy forest anymore, and the skies show that the weather is good for the next few days. That night, everyone camped out. Tiger Claw expresses his shock as he discovers that Qin Tian's group has refined salt. He mentions how they only got it by simply drying salt water. Just then, they notice a sudden commotion behind them. People got their hands tied on their backs, and a menacing man shouted his order to stop. Tiger Claw explains that they are city-state soldiers that ransack human sacrifices and offerings from nearby villages. Qin Tian asks about the siblings' village, but Aya claims that they are strong enough to kill the soldiers. Qin Tian expresses his worry about the soldiers' retribution, but the little girl explains that the city-state won't know as long as they kill everyone. Soram suddenly jolts up to check on the prisoners. Qin Tian lends her his telescope. Soram checks on them and shakes her head, meaning it is not her clanmates. Later on, the siblings enjoyed using the telescopes for stargazing. It was interesting enough for Aya to trade her brother for one. They continue traveling the next day and see conflicts along the road. Everyone ignores these conflicts, including the city-state soldiers. After walking for 3 days, they finally see a huge structure, more than enough to know that it is already the city-state. Nick is genuinely surprised, unlike Ragna and Kata, who have already seen the laboratory before. Qin Tian asks Sand Eagle to survey the area and borrows its sight. Qin Tian is surprised by what he sees. Mayan pyramids appear before his eyes and he can't believe it. Qin Tian asks if the siblings are Mayan people, but they claim they are corn people. Qin Tian can't be mistaken for thinking that these are Mayan pyramids. He does recall that the Native Americans cultivated corn way before others. Tiger Claw wonders if there is something wrong. Qin Tian shakes his head and asks to keep going. Qin Tian asks Tiger Claw if he knows about the 5th Maya prophecy, but the latter doesn't know about it. It seems like these people were also brought to the island by the time and space storms. Qin Tian can see that people are paying the gate fees with crops and such. He can also see a moat, which is quite unusual for Mayans. He wonders if some people have attempted to jump over those moats, which is doable. The siblings get flustered and mention that God is watching all the time. Just then, they see someone get in without paying, and Tiger Claw explains that the person is a resident of the city-state and always brings a special identification card. Qin Tian wonders how to become a resident, but Tiger Claw claims that there is no way. He further explains that one day the gods descended on a random village and imparted wisdom until it became a city-state. As they get further inside the gates, they see other people getting banned from entry. Afterward, Qin Tian's group sees wide farmland full of flames. Qin Tian discovers that slaves are being used to collect the fallen leaves and corn stalks and burn them to be used as fertilizer. After 10 more minutes, they can now see low-rise buildings. Based on Tiger Claw's explanation, the city-state is divided into 3 parts: the farmlands, the residential areas, and the temple in the center of the city-state. They arrive at the market and things are lively. Tiger Claw wonders where they will go, and Qin Tian wonders where they can see slaves. Aya calls him disgusting, but Qin Tian explains that he is only curious to see Tiger Claw point in a direction where slaves are being sold. A visibly strong man is currently being put on auction, and everyone bids on their cocoa beans and shells. Soram lets out a deep sigh. Aya soon learns that they are looking for Soram's clan, which has been captured. The siblings just found out the reason why Qin Tian and the others came to the city-state. Soram thanks Qin Tian for bringing her to the city-state and swears to repay Qin Tian in the future. Qin Tian also thanked her for leading them to the city-state, which was their main goal in the first place. Qin Tian wants to explore the Mayan structures, but he needs to help Soram look for her clan first. The siblings offer their help to look around. It seems like giving them discounts before made the siblings feel gratitude toward Qin Tian. The city-state is wide and it already turns dusk, searching for Soram's clan. Everyone gets hungry after walking around, and Tiger Claw wonders if Aya wants to eat her favorite. A man wearing a business smile sells hot cocoa. There are also other things to eat at the food stalls. Qin Tian hears the price of the hot cocoa, but he worries that the siblings already used it during their transaction with Qin Tian. Aya claims that is the reason her brother is helping people get paid now. Tiger Claw shouts and tells Qin Tian to help themselves, but Qin Tian wants to pay for their food themselves. Just then, the merchant wonders if Qin Tian owns the Golden Eagle. A bowl of hot cocoa is slammed on the table, and Qin Tian, Ragna, and Nick are unaccustomed to the taste of cocoa with chili. Meanwhile, Aruba and the siblings are enjoying the delicacy. He tells everyone to thank the Sand Eagle for providing its feather as currency. Poor Sand Eagle got its feathers plucked out. Night comes and it is camp time again. Qin Tian recalls the rumors that the Mayan civilization was built with the help of aliens. Aya suddenly feels hot, and Tiger Claw starts taking out some of the fire. Tiger Claw quickly leaves with Aya and tells Qin Tian's group not to worry. Tiger Claw easily jumps over the moat with ease, despite warning Qin Tian during the morning. Aya continuously feels hot. Tiger Claw then jumps into a river while holding on to Aya. Poor Sand Eagle became their piggy bank again for the next morning's meal. Qin Tian was worried after seeing the siblings soaked in water and Aya unconscious last night. Some people then talk about the holy ball games in the temple. Qin Tian gets curious about it, and Tiger Claw claims that it is a very sacred sport. Their group soon arrives at the temple, and the lot of people are amazed by the Mayan pyramid's size. Qin Tian finds the statues on the side interesting because they look like Chinese dragons. They get inside the pyramid and discover massive paintings on the wall. Qin Tian is amazed by them. Tiger Claw then starts introducing the gods depicted in the paintings: Ike Kua, the black god of war; Chuk, the rain god; Apuche, the god of the underworld; and Ikchel, the goddess of the moon. There is also the Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, the lord, who has a giant snake on his head. Qin Tian then asks who the god is in the other painting, which looks like it was added recently. Tiger Claw explains that they are the god of wisdom, who descended from the city-state to impart knowledge. Qin Tian can't help but think of the ancient Chinese frescoes. However, the Mayan frescoes show more content and the process of their brutal human sacrifice ritual. It didn't take long for the group to exit the pyramid and later discover more of them, like hills. The Mayan pyramids are concentrated in the middle part of the city-state. There is a square in the middle of the pyramids where the holy ball sports are being conducted. The cheering audience gets heated up as the participants play the sports. Tiger Claw explains that they need to throw the ball into the ring without using their hands and feet. They can only use their elbow, forearm, knee, or buttocks. Suddenly, the participants start beating up each other. Qin Tian can't believe that they are allowed to punch others or even kill others while playing the game. Just then, the ball flew toward Qin Tian. Qin Tian tries to catch the ball, but its terrifying force is strong enough to throw it off Qin Tian. Tiger Claw, on the other hand, easily catches it. Tiger Claw checks on Qin Tian, who asks for the ball. The ball weighs at least 6 pounds, and Qin Tian notices how it feels like rubber. The players then ask for the ball. Seeing the injured players, Qin Tian wonders if the sport is really dangerous. Tiger Claw claims that this only occurs when the priest hosts the game. Everyone seems competitive this time around. A man then joins their conversation and informs them that it is a priest-hosted game. Tiger Claw wonders if the sacrificial ceremony is over, since the priest-hosted game happens after it. The man explains that the priest adjusted the time of the game and set it before the ceremony. Tiger Claw then grabs his sister and leaves. The siblings abruptly leave Qin Tian and the others. They wonder what happened to make Tiger Claw giddy. They think the holy ball contest is a big deal. Qin Tian orders the others to scatter to look for slave auctions and meet after an hour. The group continues their search for Soram's clansmen. Knowing that the holy ball games are important, people will flock over to them. It means it will be easy now for Qin Tian and the others to look around the regions. Unfortunately, they haven't seen signs of Soram's clan after searching for an hour. Just then, someone shouts for help. A cage-talking bird shouts for help while mentioning Soram's name. A man puts up a price of 300 cocoa beans or 100 shells for the talking bird. He is also willing to trade the bird for a sand eagle or white-eyed hawk. Qin Tian tries to bargain the price, but the merchant ignores him. In the end, Qin Tian uses all the cocoa beans he got from Tiger Claw and some feathers from the poor sand eagle. The parrot continues repeating the words help and Soram. The Lada people are amazed by the talking parrot. Soram claims it was the bird that one of his clanmates was raising. She then asks the parrot for the whereabouts of its owner and the others. The bird then flies off somewhere and asks them to follow it. They soon reach another Mayan pyramid, which is still impressive for Qin Tian and the rest. Suddenly, the ring points toward the direction of the pyramid. The guards then stop them because the temple is ahead of the gate. Qin Tian calmly complies with them and backs off after finding out that a certain area is where the priest and king live. Just then, someone called out to them, and it was the merchant from before with a nice business smile. He came to offer hot cocoa to the priests in the temple. He was chosen to present an offering because he got the best hot cocoa in the city. The guards then shout at them, and Qin Tian leaves as the merchant gets escorted inside the gates. Qin Tian tells the others to leave for now. He tells them about the area's tight security, which makes it hard to sneak in. He tells them to prepare so they can be invited inside the temple area. The others wonder how they were invited inside. Qin Tian reminds them how the merchant from a while ago got inside the temple. They just need to collect a lot of cocoa beans from now on. Qin Tian plans to make the most delicious hot cocoa after trading some of it from the market area. Qin Tian also discovers some sweet potatoes and recalls how America is their home. In addition to cocoa beans, Qin Tian's group also collected sweet potatoes and vanilla. That night, Qin Tian's group roasts sweet potatoes, and it is the first time the Lada people eat them. Qin Tian claims it is easy to use as a reserve food and can easily fill your stomach. However, it makes your stomach gaseous to the point that you fart like Aruba. Qin Tian gives them a clear warning using Aruba as an example. The main reason Qin Tian bought too many sweet potatoes was to get the syrup he needed for the hot cocoa. After dinner, everyone starts processing their hot cocoa. Qin Tian's group is responsible for getting the syrup out of the sweet potatoes, while Soram's group is in charge of dehydrating the cocoa beans. Soon after, the sweet potatoes show signs of sugar, while the cocoa beans are now being ground to pieces. Qin Tian lets the remaining water evaporate while the syrup is left behind. On the other hand, Soram adds herbs to the ground powder. After some time, all their ingredients are done. Everyone then starts cooking hot cocoa in a large pot, and Qin Tian adds syrup to add sweetness to the bitterness, milk to enhance the drink's smoothness when drunk, and finally, vanilla to enhance the flavor of the hot cocoa. Everyone takes a sip of the improvised hot cocoa, and you can see on their faces that Qin Tian was successful in making a unique hot cocoa. With Qin Tian's taste test, he realizes he needs to add more syrup to it. Pokuma wonders if honey can also enhance the hot cocoa's sweetness. Qin Tian explains that honey becomes sour at a certain temperature, which is not suitable for a hot drink like hot cocoa. The next morning, a peculiar scent covered the market's food stall area. Qin Tian shouts and advertises their hot cocoa as the best in the city-state. The sweet, delicious smell is enough to turn people into hot cocoa junkies and push each other to buy some. The business was booming and Qin Tian's group was selling hot cocoa like hotcakes. Everyone gets a taste of the new hot cocoa in town. It was delicious enough to hear the gods calling them. It was only an hour, but Qin Tian's group sold out of hot cocoa. They also got a lot of cocoa beans as payment for today's sale. Seeing that they are selling is pretty rewarding for Qin Tian and the others, but collecting currency is not their goal. They just need to get famous and reach the ears of the priests. Qin Tian's group sold their hot cocoa in various parts of the city-state, and Qin Tian expected that they would get the attention of the priests in less than a week. He wonders what is happening now with the holy ball. Everyone cheers hard as players attack someone who's wearing a haystack on the field. The punch was ineffective, and the haystack man easily flipped over his attackers. The attacker wondered what had happened as he punched the haystack. Qin Tian and Kata are impressed by the haystack man and even mention how that haystack man is stronger than Summonson. Just then, a kid calls out to Qin Tian and asks if he can work for them in exchange for hot cocoa. Qin Tian then hands out a large bowl of free hot cocoa to the kid. The kid hurriedly gulps down the hot cocoa, making Qin Tian flustered, and he asks the kid to put down his basket first. Qin Tian notices the contents of the basket. The stones are calcium carbide, which is a material for the production of acetylene and calcium cyanamide. Qin Tian asks if he can take a look at the stones. He then throws one into a bowl of water and the water starts boiling. Qin Tian asks the others to step back as he places fire on it. The bowl explodes as the calcium carbide reacts with the flame. This confirms that it is a real calcium carbide. Knowing that this material shouldn't exist in nature, Qin Tian asks the kid where he got it. On the outskirts of the city-state, the kid leads Qin Tian to the nearby forest. The kid claims that the place they're going is cursed. He mentions how lightning struck the temple and everyone in it turned crazy. Qin Tian wonders why the kid is not scared despite the rumors. The kid claims that the priests have already driven away the evil gods in it. They then arrive at an abandoned Mayan pyramid. The kid tells Qin Tian not to worry about offending the gods because the temple is now abandoned. They enter the pyramid, and Qin Tian notices the cracks in the walls. The walls were also melted by the lightning from the stories. The kid then points out the rubble where he got the calcium carbide. Qin Tian notices a lot of charcoal, quicklime, limestones, and of course calcium carbide. Qin Tian wonders how these byproducts came about. He can only think of the electrical traces on the walls, but mere lightning is not enough to produce the necessary heat and charge. Qin Tian then notices a different looking piece of rock. He feels like he's already seen this rock before and knows that the Mayans can't produce such a rock. Qin Tian then plans to check out the other nearby temples. Qin Tian then wonders why the kid is collecting limestone. The kid explains that the limestones are used to build temples, and Qin Tian realizes that the kid is selling them. Qin Tian thanks the kid for leading the way and promises to pay him later. The kid declines, as he has already received a bowl of hot cocoa. Based on the kid's appearance and clothing, Qin Tian realizes that the kid is one of those poor commoners of the city-state. Later, Qin Tian discovers a shelf and wonders what was originally placed on it. The kid claims it was all limestone before he took them away. Qin Tian's hunches are now right. The kid wonders what Qin Tian is looking for, and he claims that he is looking for something strange, like a shiny stone. They get on top of the pyramid, and Qin Tian notices the tiles on the rooftop. He can see that they look like solar panels. He then decides to check on the other temples. Afternoon comes, and Qin Tian thanks the kid for showing him around. The kid went home, and Aruba got worried that the stone would explode in the jar. Qin Tian tells him not to worry as long as it doesn't come into contact with fire. It was a shame that Qin Tian only gained calcium carbide during his excursion. However, he is more worried about the temple roof, which clearly resembles solar panels. He had checked the other temples and discovered that not all of them got solar panels. Some of them got ruined. He notices how it was deliberately broken by someone. Because of the impact of the hit, the panels explode, leaving holes behind. Those panels are obviously not a product of this era, and Qin Tian can't help but think of them. He initially thought that the calcium carbide was made by the priests, but it turned out to be the product of an accident. Just then, Nick reports that the hot cocoa is sold out again. Qin Tian tells them to pack up and prepare to return to camp. The next day comes, and the holy ball sports are still raging on. Apparently, it is the last day of the sports, which is why there is a large audience. Despite the number of people, Qin Tian's hot cocoa is not selling well in the finals. Suddenly, people start kneeling, and others wonder if they should do the same. Soram claims that the priest is coming. Two men are being carried on a palanquin. They pass by the people who are kneeling in front of them. Qin Tian wonders who among the two is the priest. He can't deduce because no one looks like a learned person. They can't hear what the thinner man is talking about on top of the pyramid. On the other hand, the man feels great looking down on people like ants. Everyone celebrates as he announces the start of the Holy Ball sports finals. The two men sit down as they watch the games. The thinner man discovers the haystack warrior bulldozing through the other players. He wants to take the man as his own. The thinner man turns out to be the priest, and he gets some hot cocoa as a refreshment. Later on, Qin Tian continues to brew their hot cocoa until someone calls them out. Guards from the temple menacingly look at them. Qin Tian soon learns they can either get cocoa beans or slaves as rewards. The guards confirm and inform them that they will pick them up tomorrow morning. They must prepare before that. Qin Tian is glad that saving Soram's clan is now easier thanks to the fat man or the king giving him slaves. A rewarding choice. Just then, Pokuma points somewhere. A man covered in blue ink is being apprehended and tied up. The priest calls the man lucky to meet the gods as he menacingly lifts a knife. The man gets stabbed and kicked off the stairs. He falls to the ground in front of the haystack warrior. The priest lifts the human sacrifice's heart as he announces that the divine light will always protect them. Everyone cheers except for the haystack warrior. Kata finds the event blasphemous, while Qin Tian suggests getting out soon. That night, Qin Tian checks on Ragna, who is stuffed in their jar. They added more holes to the jar for Ragna's ventilation. Qin Tian expects things to happen the next day. The morning comes and Qin Tian worries if the priest will ask them to remove their masks. The guards check on their jar and see no problem. A guard orders Qin Tian and the others to always follow them. The other guards were impressed by the cart's wheels. Qin Tian notices how wide the moats are where the priests and king live. Something caught Qin Tian's attention. Piranhas live in the moats. If someone falls over it, then it is game over. Seeing the huge pyramid again, Qin Tian wonders how long these structures took to be built. He then notices that there is an entrance on the side instead of the stairs. Qin Tian is surprised that this pyramid is bigger than the rest of the scattered pyramids. He paid some cocoa beans to the guard for information, but the guard's knowledge about the place was limited. The large pyramid's residents are divided into 3 groups: the king, the nobles, and the slave soldiers. Qin Tian's group soon arrives at the 2nd floor where nobles reside. They soon arrive at the kitchen and the guard orders them to get the famous hot cocoa ready in an hour. Seeing that they are heavily guarded, it is impossible to run. Qin Tian decides to prepare the cocoa first. Soram is amazed to see the smoke being ventilated. Qin Tian explains how the chimney works. However, the principle of building it is not simple, and some unknown forces are working behind the scenes in the city-state. Please read the pinned comment about the next part.